Hello and welcome back to Wager Talk TV. This is First Pitch for July 30th. My name is Andrew McGinnis, joined by Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Rob Vino. First of all, I'll start with you, Marco. For first time working with you, first time, I guess I should say, doing a video with you. We had a great dinner, great time. It was awesome seeing you when I was in Vegas. Unfortunately, that might be a little bit longer than I hoped it will be. Nonetheless, good to see you, Marco. How are things?
Things are going great, Andrew, and welcome aboard. Since we last talked, you signed a long-term deal with us. Glad to have you aboard. And for guys that don't know it, if you could have seen that night that Andrew was here in Vegas, he looked like a kid in a candy store when we were on downtown. I mean, we did the Strip, but then I had to go old school, Dave, and take him downtown to Fremont Street. You can't experience Vegas without going old school. And he just was in total amazement of all the sights and sounds from downtown Las Vegas. And we had quite a good dinner, too. You know, that's something that I'm never shy about eating well.
The steak was bigger than my head, Marco. And that's saying something.
You didn't send him the chicken. You didn't send him the chicken ranch, huh?
No, we did not send him to the chicken ranch. Dave.
Dave,
have you done any live remotes from there? Dave, you've done remotes from everywhere.
No.
Have you done any there?
No, we never did those. We used to do, for those that don't know, I did daily radio here in Las Vegas for, 30-something years. And at various times throughout that period, we had sponsors who were strip clubs, Cheetahs, Spearmint Rhino,
Crazy Horse.
Crazy Horse. Yeah, we had them all at one point. So we used to do live remotes from there. Talk about tough duty.
Dave, my partner in crime, we switched from KBO to MLB. You're riding both sports still, like we've mentioned numerous times. 14-4-1 run right now, all baseball, KBO, MLB combined. How was yesterday for you?
2-1, split the majors, had an easy winner on the first 5 under in the Diamondbacks game, which, by the way, after the first 5, the bullpens blew up, and the game ended up going over. So that's another reason I keep saying if you're playing unders, play the first 5. And then I was clearly wrong on the Giants Padres first 5 under. That just turned into a free for all, and the San Diego bullpen ended up blowing the game. So I lost that. Then had a KBO winner again. So I got no complaints. Everything's going really well right now, and we'll try and do it again tonight. Marco's the one with the streak, though. The streak to end all streaks.
I was going to get into that.
Well, go ahead. I'm not going to steal your thunder.
You go ahead. You go ahead, Dave. You go ahead.
This was it's not that long ago. It's a few years ago.
It's 10 years. It's a 10-year anniversary.
All right. At my age, 10 years is a blink, okay? It's 26 baseball winners in a row. 26, and they weren't big favorites either. 26. I only had one streak better than that. I beat a cat named Lucky 27 games of Scrabble in a row, and then he got lucky and beat me in a game. Actually, I think this was 25-0.
Yeah, 25 in a row.
My Scrabble streak.
Marco, that is unbelievable. I can't believe that when I read that. I say that is unbelievable, and the fact that I think a lot of people have to appreciate, and I know all three of you guys have been doing this a hell of a lot longer than me, but it's the prices, Marco, that I can really respect the most out of that. I'm the kind of person, for me, I think a winner's a winner. I'm approaching. We've got NHL playoffs right now, NBA, obviously MLB going on. If I like a team to win, I like them to win. I'll lay a price sometimes, but I believe it was at greatest -120 on that streak. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the part of it that I think will, stand the test of time. It's going to be kind of hard to beat that record, and I was proud of it. It took a life of its own that summer. I mean, it was, and I wasn't releasing a lot of games. I was releasing 1 or 2 plays a day, and so this stretched out for almost a full month, and it took on a life of its own. And I know that I didn't want to see this streak come to an end, but my wife Lori actually, was happy when it finally ended, because it was just getting to be too much, and the pressure on it as long as we could go. And but I will say one thing, and I won't mention the person's name, but the jinx that ended the streak for me was a certain somebody that I used to work with had to have me on and do a special video when I hit 25 in a row. And boy, he just kiss of death, and just another bad memory from my past. Dave knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. But
guys, I have to bring in Rob Bino at Rob Bino Sports on Twitter. Rob, unfortunate what happened yesterday. I apologize. I know there was a little bit of technical issues. I guess we'll say it happens to all of us at times. Welcome back, Rob.
I'm glad to be back, guys. Yeah, the area is tough here this summer. The heat and humidity has forced a lot of outages, so to speak, in Philadelphia, both cable and electric wise. And being in the rural suburbs here, I'm like the guy to go first. So yesterday that happened to us, but hopefully the connection looks pretty good today.
We thought you were doing an impression of one of the cardboard fans at the Phillies games.
It probably looked exactly like that. The Phillies games, certainly, as Andrew told us off air, not going to go on this weekend. Toronto and Philadelphia canceled for 3. But last night, Dave, I was in the same boat as you, 2-1. I had San Diego full game run line, and it looked for a while at 6-2, like maybe we'd sweep the board, but it didn't happen. San Francisco came back against the bullpen, which is something you don't expect from the Padres. But, baseball's a daily grind. It happens.
Yeah.
Next part we'll get into before we get right into the games. We're going to go dive deep into 3 games, then run through the rest of the board. But what are today's packages? I'll quickly say for myself, I'm riding an 11-2 MLB run on this young season already. I cashed with the under in the A's game early yesterday, and the Dodgers get the job done in a really, really sweaty game for me. So an 11-2 run, I have a pickup, a best bet in the MLB, and also an NBA play up for opening night tonight. I'll start with you, Marco. What's going on for you at wagertalk.com?
Well, so far for me, Andrew, it's been a split type season. Once again, last night I went 1-1, got a nice win with the Reds, and then Tampa let me down. One of those rare instances, again, a solid bullpen not getting the job done. But tonight for me, my feature play actually is in the NBA. I like the second game. I like the Clipper-Laker matchup, and I'm stepping out with a pretty strong play. To be honest, it grades out as a 5% for me, but I didn't want to come out and sound touty opening night with a 5% play. So it is a 4% play, but I like this game a lot tonight in the NBA.
Rob, I know you're excited that NBA is back as well. You're a part of the NBA tip-off crew, which is going to actually be going live directly following first pitch. What's going on for you tonight? NBA, MLB, what's going on?
Yeah, I skipped on the NBA for tonight, Andrew, but I'm going to post tomorrow's NBA plays later this afternoon, as well as the MLB. Last night, as I mentioned, 2-1. Had the other side of that, Marco. So one of us had to win. I had Braves run line last night. They're ahead. Tampa comes back, doesn't look great. Braves come back and then get enough to cover that run line at a pretty good price, $1.55 plus or $1.60, depending upon where you shopped. Again, baseball, guys, as we all know, a sport where you don't have to generally hit a high percentage. Right now, I think I'm 6-6 on the year, but up 6.5 units. So, or percent return on investment. So, if you can grind it out and get a few dog prices in there, you're okay.
We'll start things out with the Cubs and Reds.
Oh, I don't get to say what I've got up.
I apologize, Dave. I apologize. I see you enough, Dave. That's all it really was there. But I know you have a best bet up, and you've had that posted, I believe, since last night.
I did. I played it early because I thought the line would move, and it did. So subscribers already got that game. By the way, Douglas, asking how do I get the KBO picks because you have the MLB package. You should be getting that. So, again, contact customer service. It's a little bit slow because one of the people in customer service had an unexpected death in their family this week. So, but hopefully they'll get that fixed for you in the next day or so, okay? I will have a KBO play later, by the way. I've got one featured play, the best bet that I posted last night. I also put a free play up on the Cubs-Reds game. So if you go to wagertalk.com right now, you will get that action play at no cost. And that's all I have. The NBA, I don't do the NBA. I suck at it, so I just don't bother with it. And I'll have NHL up on game days. I'm not doing any series plays. I don't like locking myself in a series because then I have trouble playing the individual games. And I will have individual games, though, and as soon as they get started, I'll be there.
Dave, I do apologize for almost skipping you there, so I will throw it right back to you with the Cubs and Reds. Reds short favorites, Darvish on the mound for the Cubs. Your thoughts on this opening game for us diving into it?
Darvish wasn't very good in his first start, but looking at the peripheral numbers, velocity, stuff like that, his velocity was up a tick. So he's healthy, and I'll assume that he'll get it back in form shortly. This guy was great in the second half last year, and no reason to believe he can't put some similar numbers up here. He's up against a really good pitcher in Castillo, who was phenomenal in his first start. It was against the Tigers, so he's facing a lot better lineup here. But, Castillo had the breakout last year. He's always had a lot of talent, and last year put it all together, and I think he's going to have another good season for the Cincinnati team. I made the number. I'm going to give you the numbers I made on my calculations for each game today because I don't have any sides, so I'll tell you what my lines were. I made Castillo 109 in this game, so pretty much where the number is.
Marco, we've been talking a lot, both Dave and myself, interested in first 5 unders and full game overs. And with this Cubs and Reds team, we saw 2 quality starters yesterday in the game, but this number still flies over the posted total. Do you have any thoughts on this one side or total?
Yeah, I lean to Cincinnati in this one. And I was on the Reds last night, and I hate to throw that phrase out as early as I did yesterday, but it was a must-win game almost for the Reds yesterday. If they would have lost 3 in a row to the Cubs in this shortened season, and there was a lot of hype coming into the season on the Reds, they would have really put themselves in a deep, deep hole. Now, getting that win yesterday, the momentum of that coming back today with Castillo, as Dave said, pitched lights out in his first outing. Darvish, will improve, but I don't think he's there yet. I think he's going to take him a couple more starts to really get in a rhythm. I'm going to go with the momentum here, and I'm going to ride the Reds to get the job done. And yesterday, and when we talk about a game later today, I'm going to throw it out there. I thought Hendricks might regress yesterday. Just the fact that, you guys know I'm a big horse racing guy, there's a term in horse racing where a horse will bounce. And Hendricks, to me, was in the bounce mode yesterday. After first start out of the gate, they went and let him go 100 pitches. I thought might have some regression, and he did yesterday, as you said. 2 quality pitchers, and we ended up with a high-scoring game yesterday. There's going to be another instance of that later in the card we'll be talking about, and I'll be bringing that up then.
Rob, 12-7 was the score in favor of the Reds. They're favored here today. What are your thoughts in this one here, in part of the series?
Yeah, a couple things to look at here, Andrew. I'll go to the bullpens here where Chicago's been god-awful out of the pen. And Cincinnati, although, there's some question about Iglesias right now as the closer. I mean, last year he had some difficulty. He didn't open up this season very good, but he's still got a live arm. And they got their main trio ready to roll here. Rested Lorenzen, Amir Garrett, and Iglesias. So I think that helps Castillo on the back end. Real small sample size here, guys, but the Cubs splits between left-handed pitching and right-handed pitching as far as their offense is concerned are drastic early on. Against right-handed pitching, they have not had much success at all. 144 at-bats, a 208 batting average, 299 on-base percentage, 424 slugging. So it's been kind of slow for the Cubs against righties, and you can't get a better righty right now than Castillo, who amazingly, as a starting pitcher, is working. He's a 2-pitch guy. That fastball, that changeup is devastating. Throws the slider every now and again, but I like the way he's rolling last year into this year, especially with the strikeouts. Cubs have struck out 67 times in 6 games. I'm with Marco here a little bit. I think that Cincinnati would be a pretty good spot here behind Castillo.
I'm happy you mentioned that, Rob, because that was a stat that I really highlighted when I was doing my work for this card. And sometimes splits like that, you can say, okay, it's mediocre, but that's a really defiant split right there, and they're not doing well against righties and go up against a really, really strong pitcher today. I want to give a little shout out here to Alex Long. Pop him up on the screen here, saying really enjoying you guys having others on the show as well. It's what we want to do. We want to have as many people on as we can. And I'm not sure if we're doing this tomorrow or not, but this might be the first time that these guys are hearing it. But we're going to do a Brady Bunch version of First Pitch and do it the baseball bunch.
Who's going to be Marsha?
we're going to have as many handicappers as we can on here. This program holds up to 10 people. It could be a little reckless. Could be, it's going to be a lot of fun, but we're going to have a bunch of people. We're going to try and pack the house. I'll do my best to direct traffic, but it's going to be a lot of fun having as many guys on as we can. Right now, guys, we are live on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. We appreciate you for joining us. If you're interested in gathering a package, MLB season from either Rob, myself, Dave, Marco, 399 MLB is the code to get the season plus playoffs World Series for $399, 399 MLB. Marco, I've been checking out the Pony Pundits. It's a fun show to watch. You guys have a good time. Great information. I heard you have a special guest coming up.
Yeah, we do. Tomorrow, we're a good friend of mine who happens to be the track announcer at the Meadows is going to join us tomorrow. This is Grand Circuit Week at the Meadows. They've got a $375,000. It's the pace for the York. It's the Adios. And the Meadows is doing a special promotion on their feature race. They're having a special wager, a high five, where you pick the exact order of the first 5 finishers in that race. But they're splashing the pot. The Meadows is putting $50,000 in to start the wagering pool. So talk about plus EV. So we're going to break down the Adios tomorrow along with the big Whitney race at the Whitney Stakes at Saratoga. And Jeff, who is the track announcer, is going to give his selections out for the Adios to help our viewers tomorrow. So looking forward to the show. It's fun. We have we joke around and, bust each other's stones and pick out some winners too. We always give out a free pick 4 on each week's show.
Marco, I'll throw it right back to you. Shane Bieber and the Indians taking on the Twins. Do you have any thoughts? Have you made any wagers on this game early on here in the day?
Yeah, this is the one where I was teasing in the last game where there's another pitcher where everybody's going to overreact because of the first outing. And yes, it's great to see these guys come out as sharp as they do, put up big numbers. Hendricks going the distance in 100 pitches. Well, Bieber didn't go the distance, but he had 14 strikeouts. Guys, when you've got a lot of strikeouts, that means you're throwing a lot of pitches generally because you got to at least get 3 to get the strikeout. And he had a high pitch count as well in his first outing. And just like Hendricks is going from pitching at home to on the road. In this Minnesota lineup, we know this is one of the most potent lineups in baseball. They can score runs in bunches. If Bieber has any kind of regression, this is going to be a great spot, I think, for Minnesota, and you're getting them at a price that you normally would not get because you're paying for the name Shane Bieber. I'm on the Twins here. I like the Twins in this spot.
The other side thinking, Marco. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, the other side of it is that you might also get a positive bounce from Barrios, who was not good against the White Sox, was staked to a big early lead. They eventually did win the game, which I was happy about because I had the Twins against the White Sox in that opener, but they give him, was it 4-0 or 5-0 early on, and he gave all those runs back. He was not sharp at all. So you would expect Barrios to be better here, and he generally is better at home than on the road. It's a good matchup because Bieber is that slider is just almost used a bad word. It's bleeping nasty. I mean, it is just that is a swing and miss pitch. He's better than I thought he was going to be. I thought when I first saw him, well, he could be a number 3 starter. He looks like an ace. Price I made in the game was Twins minus 114, so there was some early value in the Indians, which is gone now. And in fact, if you'll notice on the screen, the Westgate, we're using the airlines today. We'll alternate different days, different books. Today I decided to use Superbook, and their price is the same as mine now, so. Guess away, guys.
Rob, yourself, it sounds like Marco and Dave had some interesting points here in this one, and I like Marco that way of thinking because sometimes you look at a guy. I don't know if we want to use the word really big name, but I guess it applies here. You're getting a decent price on a team that's really hitting the ball well. Rob, Twins short favorites around minus 115. What are your thoughts in this contest?
And they do it with the big swing, Andrew. Obviously, it's a home run laden team, but the batting average so far this season is only 247. So it's not like they're going out and getting a dozen hits every night, but they get key hits, they get big hits, and this lineup is a lot different than the one that Shane Bieber faced the first time around, right? 14 Ks, but it's against the Kansas City Royals. The difference in lineup there is immense. To jump on what Dave said about Bieber and not thinking that he was going to be the pitcher that he's become, I'm in that boat because he didn't look like a strikeout pitcher when I first saw him come up. But boy, you take the tail end of last year, the second half from the All-Star break on, even a bit of the first half, and look at his strikeout numbers. And this guy's good for, 8 strikeouts each night. So we'll see how the Twins handle them. They're not necessarily handle him. They're not necessarily a team that strikes out a bunch. I look to the bullpens here, guys, again. And for those who bet game totals, when these two guys come out of the game, perhaps we get late runs in this contest. Brad Hand, the closer for the Indians, has pitched back-to-back nights. Third night generally is something I stay away from and look for the door to be open late. On the other hand, you've got Clippard and Sergio Romo, the closer for the Twins, who have pitched back-to-back nights. So there's a couple of pieces for the Twins that might not be available here. And if they are, you don't know about the effectiveness. Perhaps, even though the starting pitching matchup is what it is, you may get lucky late and get an over. We've seen plenty of that from innings, 7 on, where games that are unders turn into overs.
By the way, red flag on Brad Hand. He has not looked good. He didn't look good in an exhibition game that I saw, summer camp, whatever they were calling it. Did not pitch well again yesterday. And when relief pitchers go bad, they often stay bad. We're seeing Kimbrel. I don't know why the Cubs gave him that contract, because the Red Sox knew he was all done. He's damaged goods at this point. He just has lost his command. I think Hand could be heading in that direction. So I don't know if it could be an addition by subtraction thing if they can't go with Hand and turn to somebody else in that bullpen.
And we'll see. You're running a 14-4-1 all baseball run. Of course, that includes both KBO and MLB. So for everybody out there looking to buy packages from all of us, just be sure to know that you're going to get KBO as well tossed in with Dave and my plays. And if you don't see that, email us or DM us or email support@wagertalk.com. Best customer service in the game. I'm not biased because it's true. Our customer service is just outstanding. I'm sure everybody else can attest to that here. I'll throw it back to you, Dave. We'll get started here with the Braves around -143. Favorites here against the Rays. 8.5 is the posted total, widely available.
I made the number 151, so I'm slightly higher on the Braves, but certainly not something that I would go with as a play. Yarbrough is the guy I've talked about. I like guys like this. He doesn't have great stuff, okay? He gets it up there, maybe 90. He's a pitcher. He's not a thrower. And he doesn't beat himself. He doesn't walk guys. And he's a tough guy to go against. Because he usually keeps his team in the game. I don't think this is a great matchup for him, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Atlanta is countering with Fried, who's pretty good first time through the lineup, but watch out second time through the lineup. His numbers he's one of those guys, once hitters get a look at him, they get a little more comfortable with him, and there's a dramatic, and I know it's still relatively small sample because he hasn't been in the majors that long, but there is a big difference between his first time through the order OPS and his second time through the order OPS. He gets barreled second trip through the order, so this is a game where I think the Braves need to get a jump early. If they don't, it might be advantage Tampa as the game wears on.
Marco D'Angelo, co-founder of Wager Talk Media, also the Gold Sheet, I have to mention that, sportsmemo.com. I'm disappointed, Marco, because I was this close to adding the Braves to my card yesterday. I didn't. What do you think here today? Like Dave said, he had them priced a little bit higher. Do you feel the same way?
Well, I'm looking at this one, and I'm probably going to look at the under first 5 innings because I agree with Dave. I like Yarbrough, and yesterday was one of those instances, and I thought we were going to see more. We will, as the bullpen start to get to be.
Can you guys hear Marco right now?
No, I cannot. I was checking. I was checking my connection.
I thought my headphone jack came out of place. That's why I looked all confused for a second.
So was I. I was doing the same thing. I thought I'd lost the volume. But we didn't hear anything you said, Marco. Was there anything worth talking about?
Oh,
no, you're still blank. So
it says your mic isn't connected right now, Marco. For me.
Yeah, now Marco froze up. So we'll figure out what's going on there.
Okay.
See, Rob, you're not the only one.
It happens, right?
Marco just turned into a cardboard fan.
I hate to say this, but for about a year and a half on Puck Time, that was happening to me. So I'm happy to hear it doesn't just happen to me here in the East.
Never happens to me.
Here comes Marco.
And I don't know. And I have no idea what I'm doing. That's the interesting thing. I'm the most technologically
well, you know what, Dave?
of all time.
You're the smartest one because you let someone else do it for you.
I had somebody professional come in and hook everything up, and I have a maid service that comes in every Thursday because I'm too lazy to clean the place myself, and I instruct them, leave my desk alone because I'm afraid they'll knock something out and then I'm screwed. Mm-hmm. So the desk is the one thing I clean myself, and I don't do much of a job of it. There's shit all over the place here, but at least I stay connected.
Rob, if we can, we'll skip over to you here with your thoughts on the Braves and Rays game.
Sure, I think I'm with the two guys before me as far as taking a positive stance with Yarbrough. Obviously, he doesn't have tremendous stuff. He's got a variety of pitches, but not tremendous stuff. But he manages to get enough guys out to kick it over to the bullpen where, despite the fact that Tampa Bay failed last night bullpen-wise, they're so loaded and so deep that they have plenty of arms to go around here for tonight because Yarbrough certainly is, a 5-inning pitcher at best. So I think Tampa's in good shape pitching-wise. Max Fried is an interesting case because he's got all the ability, but he gets himself into trouble. He digs holes. You check out his whips since he's come to the major leagues, and he's generally a guy that will walk some batters, find his way into trouble, and Tampa Bay is the type of pesky team that maybe could make him pay for his troubles here tonight. So I like their matchup a little bit. I think they'll grind them and try and get it to Atlanta's bullpen. Atlanta's bullpen, not stellar, but the good arms are there tonight. Shane Green, Luke Jackson, Mark Melanson, those guys are all available. But I'm going to go back to offensive splits, Andrew, which we talked about a little bit earlier. And for the Braves, again, it's only 6 games in, but against left-handed pitching, they've been miserable. 176 batting average, 218 on base percentage, 333 slugging. So Yarbrough and the Rays could get ahead early here. Quick note, and I don't know when this is going to happen, but I was very interested last night to see that Nick Markakis has decided to play now for the Braves. Opted out to start the season. I'm a guy who played under on the Atlanta season win total for a few reasons, but the fact that Freddie Freeman at the time had coronavirus, and I didn't know how quickly he'd get into the swing of things. He got into it yesterday for sure. No Markakis, no Josh Donaldson. The offense had lost 3 key pieces, at least temporarily, 2 for sure. But now with Markakis back, boy, that's got to kickstart the Braves a little bit offensively down the road.
Rob, what were the rules on that? Was there anything like that, or just had to get your tests negative and then you're all set and good to go? I mean, if you say you're not going to play and then you all of a sudden want to play again, was there any kind of amount of games that you could have reached until you can't come back?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know the immediacy of his return. I don't know if it'll be this weekend. I got to dig a little deeper into that, or if it'll be the following week, what the protocol for him to pass is. But he's going to be a member of the Braves. And certainly, as we do this show next week, we'll probably be talking about the Braves with Nick Markakis in the lineup.
Marco, I've got a question for you. I think you're back and you're good to go. And this is just a wholehearted question. I mean, I just can't believe 50,000 subscribers we are nearing here. Before I even started with Wager Talk, I was definitely checking out the channel and everything like that. And I knew one day you'd get there, Marco. But did you think this quickly you would almost be at 50,000 subscribers?
Absolutely not. I mean, we were the leaders as far as premium content, in our industry. Now, I know way back in the day, Dave was a TV star. Used to watch him when I was just a young whippersnapper, seeing Dave on TV.
That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, but
the funny thing is, ever since the TV show, I've had a real thing for makeup.
This has been good, and obviously the shows that we've done live in the studios that we've done, they've been second to none. So if you put out quality content, they're going to come, and that's what all of our shows have been, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And this show, look at what you're getting on a live basis daily. Who would have thought that, just a year ago?
I think the numbers spiked as soon as I came on board.
Absolutely, Dave. People were shocked you were still alive.
Yeah, I know. Huh? I'm shocked. By the way, I want to vote here. Now, Marco has a Vegas scene, and I have a Vegas scene. Who's got the coolers? I'm being honest. I like yours better than mine. You got the Bellagio. You got the Bellagio fountains in there. I like that.
That's pretty custom. I'm trying to get a green screen so I can just put whatever I want behind me. That's the goal.
I don't like mine as much. My head's bigger than the thing from the Paris.
You got to put it further away from you, Dave. That's the problem.
Can't move it farther away from me.
On the topic, guys, I just want to mention it. Right now, we're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. I just wanted to mention, hit the subscribe button. We are so close to 50,000. If you're on Facebook, though, please share the video around. That is how content gets circled around social media. It's unbelievable how quickly you can move one thing to the next and blow something up. If you're on Periscope, give us a retweet, give us a favorite, and that's all I really ask for all this free content we do. It's about 4 videos a day on Wager Talk TV. We got Johnny Detroit in the chat box, and he's the backbone running all this, and we're just getting started here with the content. So I just wanted to mention that. Guys, we had somebody that...
when are we going to get on America Online? That's pretty big, isn't it?
What did Johnny Detroit? I'll pop him up. Rob looks like he's doing his recording from county jail.
Need some bail money, JD. Bail me out.
You do need a background. That's it is. Yeah, I agree. No, I wasn't going to say jail, but...
I had Johnny also says that we created more fans for KBO than ESPN. I had to give that a little shout out. Just because I watched a few of the ESPN broadcasts, and from a gambling standpoint, anyway, I'd rather watch our show than that anyway. But do
you think let's get a GoFundMe for Rob's background?
It may be good. I think that the only type of handicapper we don't have on the roster is a prison inmate, so maybe I could do that. My way to go.
I got to get out of here in 10 minutes. I got to get back. We've got the Washington Nationals, Toronto Blue Jays, my Blue Jays, and we got Ryu back on the mound. I think he looked pretty good in his opening game, but obviously the Blue Jays fell short in that one. I'm going to start with you here, Rob. We've got the Blue Jays. The line went up here. It was minus 130 at the opener, and now looking at minus 145, 150, the average number here. The question I'm going to ask you, because of course we all love the Blue Jays today, is that too much of a price to lay?
I'm not sure it is. Obviously offensively, I think these two teams are very comparable, if not giving the slight edge to Toronto's young core. And obviously Ryu has had his encounters with the Washington lineup, so he knows what to expect. And tell you the truth, the lineup that Ryu encountered while he was a Dodger was a lot stronger than the one Washington's putting out on the field so far this season. So I would expect him to have a real good outing here, Andrew. And Fedde certainly wasn't going to be in the starting rotation. He's in there because of necessity right now. I think that Toronto, like I say, offensively probably can get to him. And you want to get into the Washington bullpen for sure. So first start by Fedde was okay. I don't know that okay is going to be enough to get it done here. And I would expect Ryu to bounce back a little bit better here in this start. He had Tampa Bay first time around, which is a much more difficult offense. So for me, I don't think the price is too much to lay, and I certainly agree with the movement in this contest.
I'm just going to give out numbers on these games because we want to move these games along now that we're done with the featured games. I made it 129, so there. But I will say I think my numbers are not really where Washington is right now. They're not nearly the team as last year, so I'm not trusting my numbers there as far as what appears to be maybe false value on the Nationals.
Look, I'll tell you where I'm going with this game. Before I throw it over to you, Marco, look, this team, for the Jays, their starters have looked good. They've hung tough. Nate Pearson looked outstanding yesterday. What a stat line that was. He can whip the ball down the middle. I'm looking at the first 5 under here. We got a 5 as the number. That's where I'm looking here. Under 5 in the first 5 innings here with Ryu on the mound. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, for me, I actually like Toronto first 5 in this one.
Okay.
I just cannot back Washington at all right now with the way that offense is going. They finally scored 4 runs yesterday. They had to do it in extra innings. They got 4. Maybe that's going to open the floodgates, but this is a spot where it's Toronto or pass for me. I don't know how much I want to lay with Toronto price-wise, but I don't want any part of this Washington offense at this moment.
I'll throw it right back to you, Marco. We're going to try and go quickly with these rundowns. Yankees taking on the Orioles here. Last night wasn't pretty, and I don't really expect it to be any different here in this next contest.
Yeah, but we're not going to lay that kind of price. Even on the run line, you're laying a big number. It's Yankees or pass, and I'm not getting involved in that kind of number.
Well, it's what I said yesterday regarding the Astros, the Dodgers, maybe not even the Dodgers right now. With this Yankees team, you're going to get a minus 110, 115 price on this team total for them, and you're going to lay like minus 300 on the money line. Chances are, if they're priced like that, it's priced for a reason, and I expect them to cover that team total. That's where I'd look right back again today is the team total here. We're going to just run right through. We're going to keep going here. I'll throw it to you, Rob. Boston Red Sox, New York Mets here, closing things out.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Martin Perez. Wasn't a fan of his at Texas. Not a fan of his in this situation. The Mets obviously got 5 runs for Jacob deGrom last night, but it wasn't enough. Jacob deGrom certainly didn't handle the Boston lineup as well as he handled the lineup his first time out. Bullpen failed the Mets a little bit yesterday. I think they bounced back here, guys. I like Steven Matz in this situation against the Red Sox. And like I say, my play here would be anti-Perez at the Boston bullpen. So I would be on the Mets.
Dave, I made that price 146 Mets. I made the Yankees 213. I'll just give you my prices on these games.
Dave, I want to say last night we saw the Prez cash his 5% ticket and keep things rolling with the under in the KC Detroit game. Didn't look good early on.
No, it sure didn't.
That doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter. It's what the end result looks like. What are you thinking here in today's matchup?
A little overreaction to Singer's first start, which was very good. But I made it 105. I made the game pick 'em. I don't want Nova, though. There's no way I'm betting on Nova, who looks like he's been in decline for some time, and his first start he looked like he was maybe even worse than that. So maybe KC gets him. That was a wild game last night because it was 4-4 in the 5th inning, and it stayed under. You don't often get those, but hey, when you're running good, I guess you do.
Rob, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, your thoughts? Hello, Rob.
Yeah, Rob, are you there, Rob? Well, I'll jump in.
I think the county cut off his 30-minute phone call you get once a day.
I made Stripling 132 here, so maybe
the Diamondbacks are going to have to do something bullpen-wise here, guys. You don't have me?
Go ahead, Dave. Are you good? You good, Rob?
I can hear you. You can't.
Okay, yeah, you go right ahead. We can hear you. Oh,
you're going choppy. I made the Dodgers 132. Look, the problem with Robbie Ray is his pitch count gets up to 100 in like 2 innings because his first start, I think he went to 3-2 on 9 different guys in like 3 innings. And so he's out of there by the 4th inning. Makes it really difficult to back him. And Dodgers coming out of a big series, though. And I'm just going to guess that Marco might want to talk about this game situationally. Was I correct, sir?
Dave, I'm not sure how much I'm going to bank on those kind of angles this year because of the shortened season.
Right.
You don't have those highs and lows. Let's say you can't afford to have them like you would in a normal 162 game season. What I want to add to Robbie Ray, and this is the problem, as you said about the pitch counts. The problem why his pitch counts are so high is you're either going to get a strikeout or a walk from him.
Yeah.
Going back to last year, his first start this year and his last 3 last year, this is typical Robbie Ray. He had 34 strikeouts in 21 innings, but in those same 21 innings, he had 14 walks. You can't keep putting that many guys on base and hope to bail yourself out with a strikeout. Guys are going to make contact, and that's when you're going to get those big innings. But I'm not going to fade Stripling. Stripling was strong in his first outing. If I do anything tonight, I'm going to hope that the first time through the lineup, Robbie Ray can be okay. I'm going to look under first 5 is where I'm going.
Yeah, that makes, his first time through the lineup. When he gives up contact, it's not hard. I mean, he's got a 668 career OPS first time through the lineup, which is, considerably above average. I don't know. He's a guy he's extremely frustrating because the stuff is there. He's got good stuff, really good stuff, but he's never learned how to be economical. And I think part of his problem is he tries to strike out everybody. Let your defense play for you.
Marco, we saw Johnny answer this, but co-founder of the company, I want to give you an opportunity as well to talk about this too. Someone says, what does 2%, 5% mean? Why did you guys choose to go with this system in this format when building Wager Talk?
Well, we wanted to have a more realistic approach to betting, okay? Back in the days, a lot of guys had, the 50-star locks and 100-star. That was just all run up, great for advertising. We want to act like professional bettors. That's what we do. Most of the guys on this site, they bet for a living. That's how they make their money. And you don't play 5 and 10 times what you would play on another play. It's just, that's not smart wagering. Smart bettors keep things close together. And the 2 to 5% range is, we're saying if you have a bankroll, you're betting 2% of your bankroll on a particular game. So your max is a 5%, and those are rare with our guys. And that's the reason we went for it. We want to duplicate the betting experience as a professional would do it.
I love it. I love that way of thinking, and that's what can withstand the ups and downs of the world of sports gambling. So far, it seems like a lot of guys, though. MLB off to a pretty great start. We'll keep things going. We'll finish off the last couple of games here. We've got Seattle taking on the LA Angels here. Rob, welcome back. We'll go right to you. We'll throw it at you. 30 to 45 seconds here. Seattle taking on the Angels. Dave will throw it back to you.
Yeah. Okay. I made the Angels 165 here. I think this.
Yeah, I could hear you guys clear. I guess you couldn't hear me. But last night, obviously, 10.
We got to work on that connection. It's not Rob's fault. I mean, it's just, and he's got cable, which is usually really good for internet. But I guess
I've been there, Dave. It's frustrating.
Yeah,
we don't want to blame Rob or anything.
They're having power issues back in that part of the world, and he's kind of rural as well. So that kind of sucks. Anyway, Seattle Angels. I made the Angels 165. I'm not going to lay $2. Certainly, I would not take Seattle though. I think Bundy's got a new lease on life, and I have a feeling my pitcher rankings on Bundy are going to go up now that he's mentally and probably feeling as though he's got a chance to win now, which he didn't have a chance to do realistically with the Orioles the last couple of years. And Bundy's always had, this guy was former minor league prospect of the year. He did have some injury issues, but the talent level's there. He was really good in his first start. I want to see if he can do it here. Marco Gonzalez on the mound for the Mariners. Generally speaking, pretty good. First time through the order, but beware. Second time through the order, career OPS, 836. Once hitters have gotten a look at him, they kind of like what they see. So Mariners must stay in this early if they're going to have a chance. Meanwhile, the Angels bullpen, which is going to be a source of concern all year long. I thought Joe Madden made a mistake last night, lifted Haney too soon. He had 64 pitches. Haney was surprised he came out of the game as well. Madden gave a good explanation after the game, but I'm not sure I was buying it. I think he just screwed up. It probably cost the team a game. This game, he's got to let his starters go deeper. It's as simple as that. Their bullpen's unreliable.
Dave, comment here. Go ahead, Marco.
I was just going to add to Dave, was asking, you watch every single game and all of the managers, and you critique them a lot. This season, with the rule changes, how much more do you think the managers are going to be a direct effect to winning and losing a ball game? Because how you manage that bullpen this year is a key. I mean, with the minimum that they got to face 3 batters and all of that, you can't do the lefty-righty setup, bring a guy in for 1 batter. It changes the game.
Yeah. It sure. It's like, Jim Feist, probably the best pool player I know. He's a great pool player. Okay, I mean, he was top level going back to the good old days, and he always talked about from a pool standpoint. Yeah, it's not the shot you're taking that you're thinking about, which most people like me are thinking about the shot they're taking. He's thinking 3, 4, 5 shots ahead. And that's the way you're going to have to manage now with this 3-pitcher minimum rule. You're going to have to be thinking about what's down the road in the batting order and when to utilize these guys, especially a lefty specialist type who's not very good against righties. I think they could become an endangered species because their use is going to be a lot more limited. Managing is going to play a really big role in bullpen usage this year, probably bigger than ever before.
I put a loss on the manager the other night, Milwaukee against Pittsburgh. He let a reliever go 42 pitches when he had a 4-run lead. And before he got him out of there, the damage has been done. He gave up a couple runs and left guys on base. And then you bring the next guy in, and he's stuck for 3 batters, and he doesn't get them out of the jam. And all of a sudden, Milwaukee and Pittsburgh, where if you ever tell me I got Pittsburgh in the 8th inning, I got Milwaukee in the 8th inning with a 6-2 lead, their bullpen versus the Pirates bullpen, it's supposed to be a no-brainer that you're never supposed to lose. I think somewhere along the line, and I'll be curious to see what manager goes conventional and brings their star closer in a 7th inning to shut down a situation instead of waiting till the 9th inning. Oh, it's the closer. We can't use them until, the last out of the 8th or the 9th inning. I think
we've already seen it a couple of times.
It has to be done.
Yep.
I'm getting a really important call. I'm just going to throw it to you guys with the last game for just 30 seconds, please.
And that's the Giants-Padres game. Giants, Kevin Gossman's starting, but he's been a starting pitcher throughout most of his career, but he's not now. So this is going to be a bullpen game for the Giants, and that's probably not a real good thing. Their bullpen is not real good. Lamet is tremendously impressive for the Padres. This rotation, Marco, they're a scary team. Their offense isn't going to be real good, but it looks like they can catch the ball. In their starting rotation, it might be as good as anybody's. I mean, it's right there with the best in baseball, especially when Mackenzie Gore comes up in a little bit because he's a tremendous prospect. This Padres team's got a shot to go places this year, and they should win this ball game. I made the price 173, so it's about priced just right, I think.
Yeah, Dave, I agree with you 100%. Lamet was phenomenal in his first start, and I've never been a fan of Gausman. And as you said, this is going to be a bullpen-type game. Well, on paper, you compare the Padre bullpen to the Giants, there's no comparison. Now, anybody that bet the Padres last night might feel a little differently because it was one of those occasions that they didn't get the job done, but they'd been solid so far.
Yeah, and the thing is, the Giants bullpen, which isn't very good, had a good night last night, except for the first Anderson that came in. He gave up a couple of runs, but Cueto didn't last long. So the bullpen got stretched again, and as deep as they are, because everybody's carrying a ton of pitchers, their best guys pretty much got used last night. So I don't think this game bodes well for the I'm not a big favorite guy, but boy, the Padres look like the right side in this one.
when you look at it and see minus 170, this kind of price on the road in the Padres, you really flinch and say, my God, how can I do that with the Padres? But given the situation this year with no fans and everything else, you got to be a little bit more lenient on where you put your cutoffs, I feel, as far as big prices on the road favorites this year, because I don't know how Vegas is really adjusting to the home field advantage. There really isn't any, in my opinion. So I would be more, if this was last year, you couldn't get me close to laying 170 on the road with the Padres, but I would consider it this year.
Regarding what you guys were mentioning before I had to step off for a second about the extra innings and the different rules with the three pitchers or the three batters having to be faced, guys, from a sports betting perspective, it's added some stress. There's no questioning it. But sometimes I think that with the pitchers having to come in and face three batters, it's also added some plus. I think especially if you're, let's say, backing an over, or if you're backing that team and you see one guy struggling and he's not going to be able to leave for another two batters, that's going to benefit you. But, hell of a game yesterday with the Dodgers and Astros. I couldn't believe it made its way to the 13th. I mean, you got a guy starting on second base. Where is the textbook? Where is the textbook baseball? How are they all swinging for the fences get the man on third base and just get him in? But
you can't. I know, but everybody says that. But it's like there's two things. One is that you're giving away an out if you bunt, and the second thing is a lot of these guys don't know how to bunt. They don't know how to bunt.
Dave, not even just bunt though. Just literally stop swinging for the sun and just.
But that's baseball 2020. It's all about launch angle, and the ball's juiced too, so the players want to try and hit it as far as they can. But it's a 3 true. And look, we've talked about this last couple of years. It's a 3 true outcome game now. Walk, strikeout, home run.
We've got to wrap things up real quick, but I'm going to throw it to you, Dave, with any DFS stuff you have, and Marco, if you have anything to offer with that.
I gave Lance Lynn yesterday. He pitched well. He didn't give up anything. He hasn't given up a run. I've given out Lynn twice as my pitcher, and he hasn't given up a run. But he didn't get the win yesterday, so I don't know how well you did with that. I'm
going to roll with Castillo.
I'm going to go ahead and throw out Bundy.
Bundy?
Yeah, and Castillo's going to cost a lot, okay? Because he's a high-end pitcher. I think Bundy may get – look, Seattle scored some runs last night.
Look at the pitchers out there today. There's a lot of pitchers that are –
Yeah, so I'm going to go with a lower-priced pitcher who I think's got a chance to play well. Yeah. That's the whole idea in daily fantasy is get someone less expensive that you think is going to perform well. Other than that, you can take any of the number one starters, Castillo or anything, but you got to spend a lot of money. Then what are you going to do for your offense? So I would spend less money on Bundy, who I think has a good chance to pitch well against Seattle.
And which teams are you looking to load up your lineup with as far as batters go?
Oh, I don't know. I just went with the pitcher today. I go ahead and you go against the worst, try and stack against the worst pitchers on the board, or look for a game where the wind's blowing out or something like that. I mean, you could probably take some Royals on the cheap against Nova and maybe do well there.
Marco, I know you told me you don't do much fantasy, but any pitchers or batters we should look towards?
I'm going to just add something to what Dave said with Bundy. And after his last start, which we all talked about how good it was, Bundy said he felt very comfortable. All 4 of his pitches were working. And he said, actually 5 if you count my 2-seam fastball. So when a pitcher is feeling it and has command of all of his pitches, yeah, that's the time to jump on a pitcher for sure. So a good spot there, Dave. But again, I'm not a big fantasy guy, but I like to take little notes when I read clips like that from pitchers or managers. That's where you get a lot of nice info.
And I want to point out,
commenting this about free picks, different people. Of course, we can find our free picks at the website at Wager Talk under our profiles. I'm very active on Twitter. I've already tweeted out an NHL exhibition play for today. I do MLB as well and some in-game. So I always forget to mention this, guys, and I apologize to Dave and the rest of the cast. Follow Dave on Twitter at Dave Koken, Marco on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. Guys, we have to head out for the show because we have one show following. It's the NBA tip-off show. It's NBA reopening night, Thursday night this evening. 2 quality matchups. I look forward to it. For Dave Koken, I'm Andrew McGinnis, Marco as well. So happy to work with you for the first time doing videos. I hope you come back, Marco. Well, everybody, good luck with your wagers, and we'll see you tomorrow, regular time, 2 p.m. Eastern.